We saw communities that have been evacuated in proximity to the Israeli-Lebanese border. We do hope that we are not going to witness a further escalation, but there has been some sort of escalation, though so not dramatic, relatively speaking, up until now. But obviously this is something that we are all very much tuned to, hoping that it's not going to further escalate and spin out of control. Hezbollah is Iran's biggest proxy in the Middle East. Hezbollah actually is massively armed by the Iranians, financed by the Iranians. Hezbollah's military capacities are considered to be 10 times bigger than Hamas and Islamic Jihad. So in terms of rockets, it is estimated Hezbollah has 150,000 rockets. He has a long-range missiles, heavy missiles, high-precision missiles that all supplied to him by the Iranian regime. This is part of the Iranian regime master plan to eliminate the state of Israel. Look, we are trying to stay out of it. We have nothing to do with Lebanon. Israel has no conflict with the Lebanese people. It doesn't have a conflict with Lebanon, the government. In fact, the Lebanese and the Lebanese government urge Hezbollah not to drag Lebanon into this war. The issue is that the Hezbollah does not obey what the Lebanese people and the Lebanese government want. The Hezbollah is tuned to the message of the Iranians. They are all part of what we call the axis of resistance. This is an area of armies of terror that is massively funded, armed, guided by the Mullah regime, by the Iranian regime. Hezbollah are Shiites Lebanese. Hamas and Islamic Jihad are Islamic Palestinian Sunni group. However, what brings them together to the table, they both vote to eliminate the state of Israel through the use of power, and they both are massively supported by the Iranians, meaning arms, finance, military know-how, guidance, and so on. They couldn't care less about the Palestinians. During the war in Syria, the Hezbollah was ordered by Iran to enter Syria to participate in the war to save Assad regime. One of the major focal areas of fights in Syria between the Syrian rebels and the Syrian regime, Assad regime, was the biggest Palestinian refugee camp in the outskirts of Damascus that is called the Yarmouk refugee camp. The Hezbollah and the other Iranian militias were basically butchering hundreds, if not thousands, of Palestinians in this camp because they were fighting against the rebels. And in fact, this camp that was in Damascus, Yarmouk, was totally empty, and the Palestinians who lived in this camp, out of the fear of Hezbollah and the Iranian, basically flee and became refugees in Lebanon. Well, I think that the most important thing to take away is the understanding, and hopefully this will percolate to the world's attention. The Iranian regime presents a very serious and severe threat to the Middle East, and particularly to the state of Israel, but not only, it's also presenting a very severe threat to the world. The Iranian regime is involved also in terror attacks across the world. He's financing and fueling different terror groups across the Middle East and outside the Middle East. I think it's enormously significant to understand that if we want to offer the people of this region, Israelis, Lebanese, Palestinians, if we want to offer them any kind of positive trajectory, we must neutralize the ability of the Iranian regime to continue and to fuel the flame of the conflict as it wish. And it has to be done as an international effort because it's an international and regional interest. It's definitely time to start doing that, in the sense that when we talk about the war in Gaza Strip right now between Israel and Hamas and Islamic Jihad, the world must understand that if, hopefully, Israel will eliminate Hamas and Islamic Jihad role, if Israel will be able to neutralize Hamas' ability to continue and to play destructive role and rule in the service of the Iranian, if Israel would be able to do that, that will be a great positive development for the people of the Middle East. That will be a great positive development for the Israelis and the Palestinians, because if we'll do that, we will basically deprive Iran with one of its major strategic cards, the Gaza Strip, and the ability to continue and to fuel the flames in Gaza Strip. And if we are doing that, the story of Hezbollah will now have totally different dimensions. In that scenario, the Hezbollah will become less threatening and less interested in generating instability and war, because the other component, the arm of the Iranians in Gaza Strip in the shape of Hamas and Islamic Jihad, hopefully will not exist anymore.